Okay. Hello, everyone. Just getting myself all set up. Can we see anything? Hopefully, yes, we can. All right. We're on the move. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the start of my first playthrough of Amnesia Rebirth, which I think was a 2020 game by Frictional Games. It has been a very, very, very long time since I've played the original game, The Dark Descent. So probably if there are any references to that game in this game, which I'm sure there will be, about 95% of them are probably going to just soar clean over my head because I barely remember anything about it other than the original was very, quite effectively scary. But yeah, without further ado, let's have a look. So you like horror and are up for a challenging story-driven experience. Darkness and monsters increase your fear, causing long-term repercussions. Game is originally intended adventure mode. Okay, so it's nice that they've got some accessibility options, but yeah, just go, just go original here. See how it goes. This game should not be played to win. Immerse yourself in the world and the story. Fear and darkness are your enemies. Okay, that feels kind of like a Silent Hill Shattered Memories kind of warning. Something that jumps out of the screen and demands, take us seriously, take this game seriously. I don't know. It's really games that do that maybe set themselves up to fail. I don't know. They set the expectations too high. We'll see how it goes.
There is a moment when you realize what the pain has made of you. In hiding, curled in on yourself, unable to show the world your face. Acting on instinct, lashing out, even at those closest to you. Time has passed, and time is a thief. It has stolen your memories. The agony has faded, but so has every precious moment of joy. You have been hollowed out from the inside, and there's nothing left of the person you used to be. But you try. You try to remember how to smile. You try to remember how to love. And one day you crawl out from your hiding place and step back into the world. And then, every day, you do what you must to survive.
Right? Nice, grim,
What was that?
depressive opening.
Nothing. Don't worry.
Pretending it's not there won't make it go away.
Salim, it's just turbulence. It'll settle down soon.
Yes, I know. It's hard though. You know, your head tells you one thing, but your heart disagrees.
Try to sleep.
I couldn't. I keep imagining what might go wrong.
I know someone who can help you.
And who's that? Marka. Oh, I'd no idea you brought him.
Excellent.
I didn't want him to be lonely.
I know, my heart. It's good for him to have an adventure, but he'll be glad when this journey's over, I think. He's had a hard life.
And there's so much more to come.
Alex?
Oh.
Yasmin, get up here! Hello. This is Cassandra from Algiers. Can anyone read me? Mayday, this is Cassandra. Do you read?
Hey, hold on.
Hope the monkey's alright. But the moral of the story is if you're a horror game protagonist, never get on a flying vehicle of any kind. It never ends well.
Don't forget. Don't lose it. No. No, come on. Need to find him. He must understand. Don't forget. It's her. It's all because of her. Focus! I am Tessie. I am still Tessie. What? Where? Fight it. Don't give in.
It's wiggling time. Alrighty. Just keep moving. This game obviously has higher production values than the Dark Descent.
Don't forget.
Grab my medicine, I assume. Ah, yep.
I have laudanum. It will help, but you must try to keep calm, or it will get worse. Do not allow yourself anger. Do not allow yourself to fear. You understand me, Tassi?
No problem.
What happened? Where are they all? Where's Salim?
Okay, off to a fantastic start. Classic notebook. I have to remember she will die. Find Salim. Okay, and memories right. So the laudanum, the medicine that brings back some classic
I don't remember.
Darkest Dungeon memories, I think, of stocking up on laudanum. Right, I'd forgotten that this was a large emphasis. Press and hold T to rotate objects. Cat tongues. Charming. I don't think I need to carry those around with me. But there's no benefit. You can just sort of... It's like a little physics engine experiment, isn't it, really? It was noteworthy back in the day.
That's the doctor. I'm here. I'm here. Hello. Hello. This is Tassie.
Of course it doesn't work. Never works. Okay.
The door's broken.
Door's
There was a
broken.
handle, I think. Before.
Handle. Tab. And chuck that down. Now we push and move. Just it is bringing back memories, I got to admit, of the original, but still like foggy memories of gameplay, not necessarily what actually happened. I don't know about anyone else, but desert has always been one of my favorite settings, and it's nice to see desert brought to life in a video game in this
In the crash, I was here.
really evocative way.
I think. Where did they go?
Might turn the subtitles on actually for the benefit. Has anybody? I know I couldn't see the monkey either. I'm very disappointed. Where's it gonna be? Subtitles. Just turn those on for everybody's benefit.
Salim.
Come on, monkey.
Wait. Hank.
We've no choice. We need to get them to shelter.
I know. It's Salim. He's hurt. You know what he's like.
Let's get him down there, then you and I can sit on him while the doc takes a look. Don't worry. The caves aren't far.
Caves. Caves.
It's in here. You can reel them in and
Moved too
Push them
fast.
out. I've got some very long arms. That staying in direct sunlight is a bad idea. Keep to the shade. Seems the opposite of most horror game advice. I'm wondering if that's a knowing nod to you should actually not stay in the shadows for too long. That'll probably be the case, won't it? We'll see. Yeah, more cat tongues. I don't think there's anything especially useful
Salim!
here.
Salim, are you there?
Chances are probably not, given that everyone seems to have mysteriously vanished. Well, let me just say we're off to a better start than Outlast 2 so far, which a very similar circumstance. The helicopter or the plane crash. I think it was a plane, I think, as well. But not 2 minutes after you leave the plane, you see that the pilot somehow in that time has been strung up, gutted, and set on fire. And that's just where I had to do a deep sigh and say, is that the best atmosphere setting you can do? Is this you're starting it off like this, huh? I don't know. I just when games start off with their biggest and bloodiest scares, the rest of it just feels incomparably flat, really. Yeah, if you've read any of my articles, Outlast 2 is indeed my favorite whipping boy for that kind of thing.
Oh, there is a cave. Oh, thank God.
Yay, let's go in the cave. Surely where nothing can go wrong.
Dearest Susan, dearest Alfie, the stories don't do this place justice. It is amazing. You've never seen anywhere as busy as the market in Algiers. The smells, the flavours, the colours, and the noise. I may
Sorry, I'm just a little loud.
pitch you both up a little something. You never know your luck. All my
Hopefully
love,
that's
always.
still the right volume. Well, congratulations, ODX Grey Toad, for spending channel points to highlight this message. How you doing? I'm glad that feature actually works, by the way. Thank you for testing that. Alright, into the cave we go. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Oh, Tazi, look at the hands.
Hydrate, alright.
Tiny, perfect fingers. Hello. Hello, my little one.
Thank you. Alright. Achievement unlocked. Amnesiac. Let the game begin.
It's all right. I can manage.
Come on. Not far now. Hello?
The game does seem really
Someone
richly detailed, and the voice acting is of a much higher quality than I was expecting. Like, for instance, I don't know what I'm doing streaming it if I don't even have to read. I don't have to read the notes out loud. That was a joy.
Hold him more tightly, or the stitching will tear.
I'm sorry. I will be still.
Salim, I have you. I have you.
Hydrate again. Play Amnesia while being waterboarded. The trial. Okay. Anything around here that I need?
This is us. Salim and me. I brought this here.
I'm trying. Salim. Okay, so we got a...
What is it? I had something to say to you. A whole speech, something poetic, but
You don't need to say anything.
I know, it's just... I never thought this would happen. Any of this. You and me, I would never have imagined.
Salim, there is no one I would rather spend my time with.
Really?
Really? Stop worrying. I'm in love with you, you idiot.
You are my heart, Desi Trianon.
said no poetry.
Okay, so it's hard to tell if we got something psychological going on. Um, whether this was their camp or not. There's a lot of information I'm having to take on board at the start here. Um, James Henry Mitchell, expedition leader. Rachel Holt, assistant to Mr. Mitchell. Alexander Melville Sterling, expedition sponsor. Richard Fairchild, assistant to Mr. Sterling. We've got a couple of people crossed off. Is that Rachel and Nicholas Masson, the pilot? Okay,
Where did
interesting.
they all go?
Indeed, that's a very good question. Got a map going from the top of Algeria. So that's obviously where we are. We're in Algeria somewhere. You can assume. Engineering drafter, papers not needed. French national, travel from Le Bourget. Tassie. Really don't know how best to handle this. Sure, she'll cope in the field. This is not a difficult trip, but I'm much worse. But the last year has been hell for her. That call from Paris, she sounded so broken. Guess all I can do is look out for her. Try to keep her busy. Need to prod Malik and Rachel to do the same. She's got Salim here too, which will help. I really, really hope this is what she needs, that it can start meaning things for her, for both of them. Okay. Interesting.
I promise I won't bring this up again, but I know this won't be easy on you. First time out again, you know? So, if you want a break, you want to get away from people, any of that, just say whatever you need.
There's a lot going on. Track of Hank as
Those
well.
who follow, I am Salim Hanachi. I crashed with the crew of the Cassandra on March 3rd, 1937.
I see.
I and others were injured. We stayed, while the rest of the crew went for help. My companions are dead now, and the radio is broken. I cannot wait alone. There is some sort of creature here. I must go after the crew as best
Creature,
I can.
huh?
They followed the path through the mountain. I will leave signs. Tazi, if I do not find you, and by some chance you are reading this, know that you are my heart.
Okay, so either we were unconscious this whole time then, I assume.
I'll find you. I promise.
Matches. We can't pick up the torch. No. At least not while we're holding the match. Does it burn her hand? No, she just sort of shrugs it off. But we can't pick this up and carry this with us. Use a match to light. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. I would have thought she'd want to pick up the lamp. Okay. We'll have a wander then and through the tunnel.
Salim?
See what's actually going on. This might be a fairly short stream today. I'm feeling pretty tired. Just get the game off to a start. Nothing that way. Guess we have to go further down.
A note, I think. He said he'd leave a
I went to see Monsieur Esperandio at the market, but he has no more work until next week. I know that Tazi has savings, and I know that something will come, but it is hard. It is not just two of us now. I want to know that I'm keeping them safe.
Okay,
This is from Salim's old
so
diary.
yeah, he's leaving things from his old diary, obviously.
I'm not sure this is the best idea.
Are you talking about leaving the lamp? Is that what you're talking about? Because yeah, that wasn't a good idea. I don't know why you kept extinguishing it. Not exactly sure. Staying in the dark without a light source. Was there supposed to be a light source to find upstairs? There probably was, wasn't there? It's this sort of I like this night vision effect that kicks in, this sort of natural night vision-y stuff.
If only I had a lantern or something.
I assume I'm not allowed to pick up the torch there. No, just sort of lights. I guess I'll just keep looking around for more matches. Ah, and running puts out the match. That's cool too. That's really cool, actually. So going the right way.
She is sleeping now.
He's leaving these notes
Maybe
here.
dreaming, curling and uncurling tiny fingers. I sit here, looking at her, and I still can't believe this. How can I deserve it? Any of it.
Okay. Ooh, got a jump button. Come in here. This looks like a safe place to hang out.
It reminds me of somewhere else. It feels a bit like the shrine at Louvre. Back home.
There's more matches in here. Come on, Tezzy, you can open the crate. Yes. 2 matches. More in here? No. The physics, yeah, they're so weird just having these really elaborate physics on individual objects just for the sake of this horror game. In fact, yeah, memories just of me messing around with stuff in the Dark Descent as well when I was first playing that. Holy Mother, hear my plea. Okay. So, some thing going on here. I guess we can make this a safe room, should we so choose. But there's no, like, we can't, like, no, that's just extinguishing stuff. Was there a lantern I was supposed to get? Genuinely don't know. Seriously? Oh, yeah, the match it either goes out randomly or just very quickly.
What was that?
Yeah, my favorite. I'm playing Silent Hill Downpour as well for the first time. That has slightly too many of these bridge crossings segments that feel slightly unnecessary. At least there's no keep yourself balanced minigame, as far as I can tell. Oh no. She's got video game protagonist luck. Nathan Drake. Every platform breaks. Wiggle the mouse. Wiggle the mouse to stay sane.
There's something. My eyes.
Don't have any matches left either.
What's wrong with me?
See if we can go through here. Nice shimmying. I was wondering if that was a segment where I was supposed to do more wiggling, but no, it seems scripted, I think. There's a profound amount of stuff going on. I'm not sure whether this is the most streamable game, at least not in terms of my natural rhythm of streaming, but who knows? We'll see.
What the hell is wrong with me?
Okay. Something not so fun going on. Disturbing sights in darkness.
How did I get here?
Alright, somewhere new. So there's obviously
What did I do?
some, yeah, that alien thing, some eldritch artifact, and that crane, that strange creature, not that crane streacher. Okay. Well, they are on the lookout for a lantern or something that we can actually use. But I assume it's unavoidable. Like, surely they wouldn't let me play this long without picking up a lantern. Or maybe they would. Silent Hill let me play long enough without picking up a map.
This thing on my wrist, it feels alive. Is it mine? I
Just
don't remember.
Just about to say, where did the heck did you get that from? You never played any of these? Are you a fan of the others? I really liked. So, Dark Descent. Yeah, I played this a very, very long time ago. I played Dark Descent a very, very long time ago, and I remember really loving it. But I was never like a huge fan of the franchise in particular. But I really enjoyed the Dark Descent. And the other game, The Machine for Pigs, which was made by a slightly different team, um, the Chinese Room, I think. Uh,
Enjoy.
I really enjoyed that,
What's his name? Help
but
me. I know.
it it didn't
I know
have.
this sense of
Yeah, the
place.
gameplay certainly wasn't as good
I
in
get such
Machine for
stupid
Pigs, but
fucking
it had a
sense of
really
fucking
excellent
bullshit.
story.
Listen, I know Selim, and I know you. I know what you're capable of. He'll make it, and you'll get back to him even if all hell stands in your way.
I'm so fucking scared, Hank.
I know.
Okay, so is that a memory? Yeah, they're interesting in that the Dark Descent was a really well put together horror game. But it hasn't even been necessarily one that I've revisited, despite having very very fond memories of it and actually remembering it being quite scary. At least when I first played it all that time ago.
Hush now, lullaby. Close your eyes, for sleep is coming. Hush now, lullaby. Papa's here, so don't you cry.
Sleep well, Alice.
So certainly, if you were going to play one, um, I think I think it's definitely the Dark Descent is held up as a classic for a reason. It's
Torches.
certainly
Someone's been here.
the one
Hello?
to play.
Anyone?
But this is obviously the most modern one, and they've just announced a new one. I think a month or two ago, called the Bunker, which looked to be really interesting. Sort of more of an emergent horror one, whereas I don't know, maybe this one will prove to be emergent as well. But at the moment, it feels particularly scripted. The Dark Descent as well was really scripted. Um, Hello, Yovios. How you doing? It's good to see you. The Dark Descent was particularly scripted, but I don't remember it being so horribly, I guess, see through. I suppose at the moment, this game sort of. I don't feel in danger yet. We'll see how it goes.
I was able to meet them in the park this afternoon after talking to the factory manager at Dinar. A proud moment. Alice has learned to count to 3 with her blocks.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's more of an early game thing as well.
She did. She showed me.
So I got to figure out what the heck this does too. Like what the purpose is. Sort of warping through reality. Didn't really seem to be anything in there. What about this one over here?
It's all these places. This is so strange.
So I guess they're like glimpses of some other reality bleeding through. I don't know. I guess a lot of horror games do tend to have. Well, it's a really hard line, to be fair. I was just complaining about Outlast 2, wasn't I? Being over scary, but I guess that game was still like heavily on rails too. I just like for the games to jump straight to the emergent horror, because I mean that's what video game horror is all about. If I want to watch scripted horror, I just watch a good horror film. Those can still scare the crap out of you. But for whatever reason, I'm in play mode here, and whenever the game does something scary in a cutscene, it just doesn't have quite the same effect. Um, I'm sure you guys out there have a similar experience. Reminds me you of that one Wolfenstein. Um, the what is it? Is it the New Blood? Is that the one that has sort of the mystical elements in it? I might be misremembering that. It's also been a while since I played those games. Okay, definitely not on Earth, I assume. We're in the alien realm.
God, look at this place. It can't be real.
It's quite a nice vista. I like there's a statue of some kind there. That's cool. So we'll get closer and have a look at that. Somehow. Oh, yeah, physics. Push. Eh. Wee. Press. Can't seem to get the throw working right. Yeah, we'll try that. So you can just get distracted by picking up and throwing and pushing things. Oh, that does the job, I suppose. Okay. Get nice and close to the statue over here. I don't know what's the general consensus on how a horror game should start. I mean,
My bracelet. It's glowing again.
can I? How do I check the? How do I check the bracelet? I don't know. I can lean. Do some leaning, but it really is like horror games live and die on the first hour or so of gameplay. I think. Um, so it can be pretty tricky stuff figuring out even how to open your horror game and how to make it feel scary without giving too much away. I'll be interested to see what becomes of this game in my estimation and in yours as you watch and play it, as you watch me play it rather. All tongue tied today. I really am tired. Nothing progresses. Time does not change things. Light does not move across the sky, nor does it grow dimmer or brighter, and yet time must pass. My mouth is dry and I feel the pangs of hunger. Weyer's notes predicted instability of the flow of time around the junctions between worlds, where one step might carry one between years, but might preserve the body in its current state. Or indeed, where the body changed, but time did not pass for the world around. Is that what has happened? Is this whole world frozen in a moment after its destruction? How could I ever tell, and what would change if I knew the answer? I've given up on the attempt to find the portal, have a notion that I could apply Weyer's predictions on the weakness of the fate between worlds, and then I could map them in some form. So someone's doing some scientific analysis of this strange alien world. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the 2009 Wolfenstein. Right, yeah. The part with the watch reminded me of that game 100%. That's the one with the big glowing skull on the big blue lightning skull on the cover, right? Yeah. I totally agree with the emergent point, even in non-horror stuff. I think games can borrow from movies in great ways, but they can definitely be too cinematic and on rails. I'm half convinced Naughty Dog games should really just be movies. Yeah, Naughty Dog games. It's really funny, right? Like, I loved The Last of Us too, in many ways. But there are a couple of segments where I wished the game would actually give me the control. Like the storytelling was amazing, and the presentation of the game was remarkable. But yeah, the whole on rails thing, like it's really hard because the actual gunplay of The Last of Us 2 and that kind of thing, and Uncharted, all those kinds of things feels so satisfying. Like it's some of those polished gunplay, but then sort of the other half of the time, you're just sort of wrenched out of it a bit. But that scene, if you've played The Last of Us 2, the level where you explore downtown Seattle on horseback, that sort of feels like a mini open world. Uh, I wish more of the game was structured just like that, being able to immerse yourself in the world like that. I really enjoyed that. I must explore, for I must find a way to return, but stepping into the fog is like stepping into deep water. I'm lost in a sea of whispering confusion. Need something to shut them out. Are they the dead of this place or only my own paranoia? My strategy now is to focus myself, clear my thoughts, step in, and survey as swiftly as I may, then return. It will be slow, but I fear it is my only chance. What you're describing reminds me of Man and Medan and Little Hope. Yeah, at no point in those games do you feel like you're playing a game. I do agree, and I think instead, like where Naughty Dog actually has, competent writing, I think to back up the cinematic stuff. I really struggled with Man and Medan, especially. It was it was a slog of a game. So obviously our British explorer character didn't make it. What else does he have to say? I am defeated. There is nowhere back. There is nowhere to go. I've searched for a portal, but there is none. I've triangulated the weakest points within with Levi's calculations, but I cannot tear a rift, for I do not have a traveler's amulet. I did not heed Brennenberg's warning. Oh, that's a familiar name. Well, yet what choice did I have? The shadow sensed the orb. I had to risk it all and step through the portal. There is no water, no other means of sustenance. Will not live long. If you, reader, traveller, from whatever world you come, if you comprehend, and if you know enough to speak to those of the human world called Earth, let them know this. I was the first to solve the mysteries of the gate builders. I was the first human to breach the boundaries between worlds. I, Professor Thurston Aloysius Herbert of Cambridge, England, was the first. God forgive me. Made a mistake there, did you, buddy? Weak points, but no amulet. So we have the amulet thing, I assume. That's what we've got. Don't think it's a coincidence that, yeah, The Last of Us is doing so well as a TV show, but a pathologic show would be a disaster. Both are great, but the latter is much more deeply tied to its medium. Yeah, it really is like every time someone adapts a video game, you got to ask the question why. Like, why adapt a game? If it doesn't already have a story that suits itself well, if the mechanics aren't an integral part of the game, then I mean, why is it a game in the first place? But yeah, so many people. I've seen several requests, yeah, for pathologic show on my YouTube channel. Like several people have sort of put forward the idea. I love to see a pathologic show, but I think yeah, a straight adaptation would be an absolute disaster. And I want to touch back on Man and Medan in a minute. You should stream the worst horror games you can find and dissect exactly where they go wrong. Well, I mean that is definitely kind of my goal. If I do end up streaming a bad game, I guess I hesitate to say a bad one last week. I did want to jump back into Stars Die and play it again, but it was disappointing in a lot of ways, and I do think I did want to touch on that game again. I've hopefully the hilarity won't have worn off either. It's a ludicrous game. There are shadows of the dead in the ruins. Those who lived here were human or near it, so perhaps this was Zerzura after all, or Eden, or some other stronghold of humanity. But whatever this place once was, it is shattered. These must have been the gate builders, but what horror could cause such destruction? Surely even the shadow cannot destroy a whole world. There's no sign of a portal. Even if I were to find one, the orb was lost to the shadow, and I do not have another. There is something else here stirring in the fog. I see bright lights as it hunts, and I hear its cries. I do not think it is alive. Being stalked by a zombie alien thing. I like the.
You are Professor Herbert. God damn it. I wouldn't be trapped. Not like this. There must be a way back.
I like the idea of this once being a human world or a human stronghold, or that this was once Eden or something similar, and it's been sort of blasted to hell by whatever alien force, the Shadow, quote unquote. By that force, it's a really really nice thematic idea. I guess we'll just wander around this way. I assume I don't think I've been this way, have I? But no, yeah, Man of Medan, all those Dark Pictures games, like so strange because they each have a couple of moments that I actually really like, and that I think are actually kind of clever, and the ideas behind them are interesting. Except to play through a Viva Pinata, but you get jump scared by every evil pinata. Well, I can put that on the list of things to play one day. No, the light just does not help.
The bracelet.
Yep, how do I use the bracelet again? Okay. That'll help. I guess this is what I should have been using all along. It actually shows me where to go. which is helpful. So yeah, I mean, I think the idea of something like A Way Out, except with horror, is good, but the games feel like less like actual horror, more like unintentional horror parody. Yeah, I think they like the Dark Pictures games try and lean into this like idea of like B moviness, but the characters themselves are just really unlikable. Um, there's only like one character in each game at most that you're like, oh yeah, I'd actually like to see them survive, sort of thing, because they're either flat or just kind of jerks, which is like some people argue that those games, like, oh, it's a good thing that you want to see these characters die because like that's part of the fun. But it's like, why even have the gameplay element of trying to help them survive if you want them to die ultimately? I mean, I guess it's a preference thing, but I'm not a fan of playing through games where the main characters are so unlikable that it defeats the purpose of actually playing the game properly, and you just sort of want to get it over and done with.
This looks promising.
Okay, so we break back into the real world now, I assume, or something similar. Or something that looked like the real world briefly.
What the hell was that?
Ah, so we can like, if we hold control, we like hunker down a bit. All right. But yeah, I really like your point, Yoviest, about the Dark Pictures games being multiplayer co-op. I think that's probably the biggest selling point. I really like. I like how you can riff off other characters. Is that a monster or a dead guy? Hard to tell. Let's get jump scared anyway.
Dead.
No, just a dead guy. But yeah, if anyone has any recommendations for horror games beyond Viva Pinata, would be nice to hear them. There's still like I've not played through either of the Layers of Fear games from Bloober Team, although I have played through the Medium and. Have you seen what happens when you play those games with a friend and agree to say absolutely nothing and never given a dialogue option? It's awful and amazing at the same time. Would 100% recommend. I played through a bit of Man of Medan on a second playthrough, and I just had the characters here just constantly say or do nothing. It was absolutely amazing and awful at the same time because people were just like sort of half the time just ignore that you'd said nothing and pretend that you'd said something, and just try and keep going as best they could, which I found, yes, a source of totally unintentional hilarity. Um, the most recent one I played, I've not played, I think the fourth one, The Devil in Me, but I played through House of Ashes 1.5 times. I made sure and House of Ashes was really curious because it it was the setting that it chose was during the Iraq War, I think, and I found that really strange because it's trying to play up all these like B movie sort of camp kind of vibes, um, but at the same time, it's also trying to like, on one level or another, dissect like an actual real life war that still has obvious real world resonance in people's lives today, a war that people have actually lived through. And I found that a really jarring like way to approach writing a story. Oh no, gravity flipped. I like that, playing with perspective there. That's really cool. Oh, and then we're gonna drop into our house, are we? This is our house. It's nice for gravity to let us down gently there at the end. Okay, so I assume we're back in France, back in Paris somewhere. So
I was
compass.
16, I think. And I must have driven him crazy. But
It's the monkey. We finally found the monkey
no
again.
locked doors,
Everything is okay.
just this compass. He said it was so I would always find my way home.
I wish I'd known him better.
So do I.
So father's compass, we can assume. So we just got to touch a variety of things in the room to advance, I assume. Nice soothing rainfall. Play around with this. Make our sanity come back. Can I pick up the monkey?
By the
No.
window. I should get cold.
It's not cold. This is normal for Paris.
All right, I'll get cold.
A lot of art going on here. So I assume it's her art from the journal she was doing at the start.
I have to remember. Find Selim.
Can tell this is France because the other characters are giving voiceover backstory while the main character explores a regular house. You're saying that's a classic cliche, you mean?
Food is ready. Oh, can I see?
It's not finished.
It's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Get out of here!
Well, she's a much better artist/architect than what's his face, Captain Bland from Heavy Rain. I was having a discussion with someone the other day about that game, just how wretched it is. Alice in Wonderland. Oh, the book that everyone uses in every game to emphasize that they're traveling down the rabbit hole into another world full of psychological implications for the protagonist. What could this mean?
I don't care about the paperwork. This is as official as I need it to be. I love you, Selim. Put the damn ring on.
Just in case you didn't know, it was France. There's the Eiffel Tower in the background of the photo.
Ring on, and you will wear mine.
It's nice so far to have an actually positive relationship in a horror video game. That it crops up less often than you'd think, than you'd like. I mean, it could all still go south, but so far.
Selim?
Oh no.
Selim?
It's doing that horror game thing as well, where you open a door and what a mind fuck.
No.
Baby, come here, baby.
No. Alice! Alice!
Wish I could remember what it's called, but I'm thinking of a French indie movie like that. Yavio says every time a character was introduced, it was going through a sequence where they would sit in a coffee shop for like 10 minutes with their internal monologue, giving the audience every detail of their backstory. That sounds strangely relaxing. I'm sure it's might be tough to get through, but relaxing surely. Oh. Alice has grown quite big and getting bigger, so I guess we've got some pregnancy anxieties about that going on, about the child growing up, getting bigger. Just go straight for that easy and obvious metaphor, shall we? In my on the ground analysis, that's a nice, nice loading screen. Just the sound of familial breathing. Achievement unlocked Dreamer. So we're raking in the achievements here, and I still haven't actually encountered a single monster yet, I don't think. Surely soon we're going to encounter something actually dangerous. Just encountered a silhouette, a giant statue, and a giant baby.
So real.
But yeah, so it's so far we're laying on the tropes a little thick, but that's okay.
I feel like I don't fit my body. Oh, what the hell? I'm heavy. My gut feels like. Oh god.
Okay, so let's see to bring that back out. Still haven't found a lantern. Relaxing is pretty accurate, but it just comes off as so weird when the character's explaining how much they feel unsatisfied with their life and they feel hopeless, but the audience just stares at coffee being stirred for the whole scene. That does sound vaguely dissonant, but at least there's an element of relaxation there too, I suppose, just watching coffee being made. Light that up.
Try to keep calm. That's what the doctor said.
I really, wait, like...
That's better.
Okay, we got more matches. One match. One extra match from that. Okay. And then we'll bring our compass back out and we're going to
Maybe it wasn't a
go
trick.
through here.
Professor Herbert called them rifts. Holes between worlds.
Okay. So I assume what's happening is that we've got the magical pregnancy trope going on. That the rebirth in the game is that she's somehow we're going to have to give birth again to Alice. That is just my guess so far, judging by the information we've been given. Um, Again, this game so far feels like it has a lot of comparison points to Outlast 2, which is not necessarily a good thing, but so far at least it's handling it more tactfully than Outlast 2 ever did. He's got some more subtlety going on here. But yeah, the Outlast 2 has a big pregnancy scene, a big birth scene as well, where you help your wife give birth, and it's totally unnecessary. You can tell they just put it in for the shock value. You know, oh look,
The Lord.
our game has a help your wife give birth scene in it. How many other games have that sort of thing? You can just imagine that's what was going through their head. I don't know. I have a very low opinion of games that rely on shock value, as I'm sure you've probably already ascertained. Unless the game, like the chillers, like I'll admit that while I couldn't play Yuki Onna the other day because of the wobbling of the screen was making me feel a bit ill. I really liked that game's shock value, just of her randomly appearing, that emergent horror stuff again. Really, really crucial to the overall experience um, of actually being frightened in a video game, of just never knowing exactly where she's going to crop up. That was actually frightening, and you could tell, I'm sure, in the way that my mouse went like that all the time whenever she sort of appears out of nowhere. And so I might have to get their other game, Akamanto, which I haven't played, but is very similar and might not have the shaking of the screen, and is also in fact meant to be even scarier. So you'll see me wiggle
What's the
twice as
matter?
much. Yes, the
He
monkey.
was here. He was.
He left the monkey as the trail.
We said we would put him away. What's wrong?
Poor monkey. We should clean him. Stitch him up. He's so tattered.
Oh, my heart. What is it?
Alice. Alice will have a sister. I'm pregnant.
I see.
Oh shit.
So
Shit. I remember.
so not a rebirth, a second birth. Guess we'll see.
I remember telling him in Paris.
I see an element of amnesia to what's going on.
Expedition. We nearly didn't come because I am
Why would you go?
I'm going to have another child.
Even if
Christ.
even if you didn't know that, you know, the monsters and the plane crash were going to happen, is it really the best time to go on an expedition and leave? I assume leave Alice back in Paris for some reason. If you're a horror protagonist, simply do not get pregnant. Simply don't go on a plane. Don't get pregnant. We just got to start making a list of what not to do.
Salim?
Can see a dead body.
No. No, no. Oh no, please. No, no, no.
Oh no.
Salim. No, please, my love. I'm here. I'm here now. Please stay. Stay for me, please. My heart. Heal my heart. What do I do? What do I do now? I was supposed to find you.
Voice acting is really good. At least better than I was expecting. Poor Celine. Sorry, Celine, I gotta take your lantern as well. Been looking for one of these.
I know I will not live. It does lost you, Tazi. It is only for a time. I know you will escape. You carry something so precious. Live for us, Tazi. Live for the child. Live and be free. And one bright day we will all be together again. Know that you are my heart.
Thanks, Salim.
What? I can't stay here. I'm so sorry, my love. I'll do everything I can to keep you safe.
Time to cruise out of here. Thanks for the lantern, Salim. That was all I was here for. The lantern and the monkey.
Fuck this, I can't do this. Not without you. Not without you.
Like,
Why did you have to go? No. 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 Don't be so fucking selfish. It's not just about you anymore. Live.
okay, I don't have a lantern. My lantern's not working? Does it need fuel or something?
There's got to be something you can do.
Wait, where am I? No, we're good. I'll get my my thing out, surely.
What? Hello? Is someone there?
Look, Lisa, it glows. There we go. All right. So yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see because we're now hitting the hour mark. We still haven't seen anything truly dangerous yet, but surely now we've got the lantern. This is where it begins.
A word for him.
I guess yeah, it must have been a hard decision. Probably hard exactly to just be like, no, I can't continue my archaeology career or artist career just because I'm pregnant.
Here we
But
are.
I would be interested to know exactly what's happening to her other child at the moment.
Just look at me.
Hold down X to check in on your baby.
I can't believe I forgot this.
So you can sort of hear the heartbeat of the child. You can hold down X to check in on your baby at any time. Does that... interesting, okay. The one thing I remember reading about this game was, I think, a rock paper shotgun review, and in that review, the reviewer mentions that holding down a button to perform a complex emotional action feels like a slightly reductive exercise, but it's hard to ask the player to complexly simulate, any kind of emotion like that. You obviously can't have a complicated set of inputs, and having it be scripted also might take away some of the quote unquote impact of actually being able to do this.
I wasn't this far gone.
And of course, it's a horror pregnancy, so things are moving mysteriously quickly. But I really like this vista. I just got to say again that more games should be set in the desert. I love the desert setting. It's really evocative and cool, and especially good for a horror setting. Surely the profound feeling of isolation that the desert gives by itself. Surely more games should rely on settings that aren't just in the middle of rural towns and that kind of thing. Go for something more extravagant, more off the beaten trail. nice to see a game try something truly different. And already, I guess,
There.
um,
That building. Oh god, we were so close.
which building is she talking about? This one over here? Yes. And mine is go okay.
It's not the friendliest of places. Count your lucky stars, old chap. You could have come down in the middle of nowhere.
Don't worry, Jonathan. Supplies, water, a map, there'll be something. Even if there's no one home.
Lycos will have gathered the plies. Bet you.
Okay. But yeah, so many horror games rely on an urban setting, and I mean that's because it's easy and I guess cheap to sort of replicate these. I assume this is locked. Yep. Um, cheap to replicate. I don't know why I tried that again. Just in case. Rushback. Um, like there's so many like assets already pre-made out there for sort of these urban environments, which I guess is why people don't want to have to go through modeling scorpions and trying to get nice looking sand and whatnot. But I wouldn't even mind if it, like, where's my low poly desert horror game? I mean, there's a market for any developers watching. I'll buy your game if you set a horror game in the desert. I'll at least try it. Um, and I don't know exactly what it is. What my first experience
I could
with
sit
uh,
down, Mr. Sterling. This is Algeria.
with the desert setting that was so evocative. I think actually it was Ratchet and Clank 2. It was that really wonderful um, Tabora planet that sort of seemed open world, but wasn't actually open world in any significant way. But it still managed to simulate it well enough. Okay, so we got to figure out where to go. I should probably get my. Like, I assume this. Does this point me in the direction or just towards the area where the dimensional rifts come from? What I do like is that from here it seems the game has at least stopped trying to hold my hand. I really am hoping for some non-scripted stuff um, coming up soon. Because that bit in what was it, Silent Hill 4, that I've got so many people to try, that just the water prison stuff, and it gets everyone in a really different way, just because they weren't expecting it. I can't climb up there. Is there anything in the tent that's useful? I'm gonna ransack the tent. Out of the way, teapot. Nope, nothing in here. Letter. What do we got? And there, Hakim recounted the tale of the local tribe, the Kalhanan. They were Tuareg that refused the call to Islam for their own ancestor, Tinhinan, a bringer of healing and fertility, walked the sand. And how should they disbelieve the evidence of their own eyes? There was fighting, as there always is in such matters, but the Kalhanan were wealthy, made their peace through trade in salt and meat. Okay, so we've got some local history, local folklore from Algeria, which again is cool. Well, I know I mentioned before that I like the Eden reference. It sort of gives it, biblical references are a really easy way to sort of make something appear bigger and more complicated than it actually is. But it is nice as well to see a game root itself in something beyond just Christian iconography, that we actually have some local flavor slipping in, which again will help differentiate this game in my memory from the legions of games of other games around. Yep, vandalism. That's what I'm good for. Let's destroy that, and then we'll turn the cog here. Sergeant Fournier is a fornicator. Very clever. Guess an urban setting is much more relatable to a general audience, and a warp sort of familiarity is pretty important to horror. Not that a more exotic setting is any less scary, though. That's an excellent point. The urban stuff really is a touchstone for a lot of people, which I guess is why it can be leveraged more easily. But I guess maybe just speaking as someone who plays too many horror games or something, I appreciate it more and more when horror games do go the extra mile and don't just have you walking down a quiet city street. You have to do something really atmospheric and really special for that to actually function. function correctly. You know, super powerful until it starts to get samey. Yeah. Um, and yeah, it's like it's not an easy balance to strike. I'm not saying that like people should stop making urban horror games as well, because obviously still a huge market for them. I'd still play them. It's just for them to be really good in this day and age, they have to do something particularly noticeable. Whether that's whether that's in mechanics or in story or just in building a really convincing atmosphere. And I find that yeah, what makes the most convincing atmosphere, especially in what is just like low poly horror games over and over again, is of course the audio. Um, but at the same time, you sort of it becomes really hard to build a convincing soundscape in a game, and to find the right level of intensity. Like, how do you know exactly when to sort of dial it up and dial it down? Which I mean is just one of the reasons that Silent Hill is still as popular and still as
What's my last
effective
name?
as it is today,
I've
because it knows when to ratchet up the sound design, and as well because it's the originator of
I wish I could remember.
that kind of urban environment twisted into something particularly perverse in many instances, and why people still hang on to the brand name and are still, against all odds, potentially excited for Konami's next attempt to resurrect the franchise, which I am also somehow excited about, even though it's Konami and they've pissed away like 10 years of doing basically nothing with the franchise.
Malik, Leo,
I guess we'll see.
take a look ahead. Rest of you, hold tight here. Won't be long.
Tazi, what's the sign say? My French is piss poor.
Just that they were a long way from home.
Welcome to the end of the world, which I guess speaks on several levels there, doesn't it? Which I guess is the intent. Can we enter this fort? I'd be interested to know if they modeled this this environment off of a real fort location.
Precious
I've
gem.
not done any
Look
research
at
into
you.
the actual geography of this game, but it might be worth a look later on to see how authentic it is, or whether this is a completely fictional location within a real country. But it feels really evocative.
I remember being
Just something different.
Why?
Especially, I don't know about anyone else, but it might just bug me these days. But I find so many horror games go way too dark, especially the urban ones. And I know that this game obviously is pretty dark too, and we've had some pretty dark sections wandering through those caverns already. But I just appreciate that there's actually that the sun is visible, at least for now. Um, it's just nice to have that that kind of environmental lighting difference. Maybe people disagree. Maybe people just like their horror games as dark as possible. But
I'll always be here.
much more impressive to mix it up. You know, at the very least, to have scenes of light, and to show that yeah, the light can still be scary. That things can still spook you during the day too, which makes you feel particularly unsafe, which should be the goal.
Stop talking, Doctor. Got to get to that radio.
Well, can refill the lantern. Okay, can I just... Gotcha. More vandalism. Get out the way, Barrel. We suspect something bad is going to happen in here, right?
Just keep talking, Doctor. Keep talking. I'll find a way.
Not exactly... Those must be oil lamps, I assume, as well. Yeah. Oh no. This old place is falling apart. Okay, my lantern does not last very long. Note to self for future, don't just waste your bloody lantern walking around like that. I'm starting to go crazy already. Not good with the dark. What does that say? Spring arm, bed frame, lathe / tread drill, sturdy frame, bench, winch from elevator. Okay, so we got to fix this elevator, I assume, which is good because I'm so good at fixing things. I'm just an absolute expert. I don't even know what this is. It's just a bottle. Can't even see anything. I light this candle up. I guess the objective right now is to light the area.
French trooper, I suppose. Trouble with the locals.
Could be. Bite marks too, see? Hyena, maybe. That damn big one. Didn't finish its meal.
Yep, definitely. Just a hyena. Just a hyena burst in here, emptied the entire place out, and killed that guy without finishing eating him. Definitely. I believe that cover story. Is there more oil around here? More matches, even. Shipment delay unacceptable. Forward immediately. Stop. Captain a Lefevre? Lefevre? Apologies for butchering these pronunciations. RQS transfer Corporal D. Brevis. Stop Captain A. Lefevre. And okay, so we got a captain here who was up to something. Just a lot of telegram messages, I assume. I don't know if any of them will actually be useful. Got a helmet. Can I put the helmet on? Feels like a good... When you see a dead body at the bottom of the stairs, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. No one else will go for the helmet? Just leave the helmet alone, I suppose. Light this room up too. Did I... Oh, you can break things. Okay, that's me breaking things. It's me being clumsy. Thanks for your patience, Doctor. I'll be there with you in a minute. Press reinforcement. Okay, so it's like they're obviously they recognize that they're under attack by something or someone. Probably more likely to be a something, judging by the state of the corpse at the bottom of the stairs. This was not closed before. Interesting. Like, did I... Yeah, that goes so quick. Is it like a minute or 30 seconds for each charge? So what, there's 10 charges. Yeah, I genuinely don't know. I'll getting this last match out. What does this say? Dr. Anton Metzier. So this is the guy calling. Doctor. Papers, Swiss will need a visa. Travel from Basel. Sterling Sr. insisted we have a doctor on the expedition because his people don't trust the locals. Told him this was a wicked case, not 3 months in the jungle. He wouldn't hear it. So they sent us this guy. Don't know much about him, but they must be paying him a lot to leave a practice in Switzerland. Guess he's competent. Whether he can cope with Africa, we'll see. Okay.
Yeah, he seems okay. Between you and me, I think he's a drinker. Maybe they sent him out here to dry out.
Love the just nice gossip, making the environment nice and friendly. What I do like about Amnesia has always been the feeling of trying to claim spaces with the lights, which is something that Knock Knock from Ice Pick Lodge also does very similarly. Mama, please talk to Papa for me, please. He has not replied to my letters. This is no place for me. The men are cruel and the land is cruel. I beg of you, I beg of him. I will do everything, anything to make amends. If he will not take pity, ask if he truly wants the family name to die out here in the dust. So someone was not having a good vacation, obviously. But yeah, I like the feeling of sort of you're trying to claim safe harbor, by lighting up these spaces, and then as they get extinguished, you are sort of forced to retreat. But of course, staying in the darkness for too long depletes your sanity, and thus your health. Someone's attempted a poem. Yeah, and Frankaloons, yeah, absolutely do play the first one. It's really worth it. Um, and if you do really like it, I do still recommend actually playing Machine for Pigs, just with the understanding that the gameplay is not as good, but the story is really excellent. It has a really nice story and themes running through it. It just sadly doesn't manage to nail the scary part quite so much as the other ones, which is unfortunate. Okay, let's read the dust and desert, arid plain. I dream of you, I call your name. A flower blooms, the petals fall. Sand glass empties, still I call. 10 years gone, my time is done. A journey home, my battle's won. There's no one waiting, no one there, just echoes and an empty chair. Yeah, the barrable door earlier was cool. I was totally expecting to have to retreat there, like which I guess was the point, is that they're setting me up uh, to go back to something that doesn't actually matter. Um, which quite a lot of horror games do. Try and sort of be like, were you paying attention to this? Oh, you better have been paying attention to that. And then it turns out that that didn't actually matter at all. Um, but still, it was still cool. It reminded me of Resident Evil 7, which actually had that door that you actually can bar and hide from Jack Baker inside his little Confederate soldier room, I think it is, and he's got the like that shotgun, and if you put the shotgun on back on it, it sort of locks you in there, and I don't think there's any way he can get to you, which I remember being feeling quite satisfied about on playing it through again on one of the harder difficulties and being able to sort of shut myself in safely and just have him complain that he couldn't get to me or call me a coward or whatever, but I could just stub my nose at him. Those kinds of interactive elements in a horror game add to immersion and also add to the list of players' choices. And the longer the list of player choices are, I think actually the more immersed a player can get. Um, I know a lot of people talk about how how scary it is when games don't let you fight back, but I always found there was a more profound. I'm in the camp where if if you run out of bullets, all of a sudden that there's a gulf of horror, and you sort of lurch down to feel more scared now that you know that because of your own clumsy play, you've sort of wasted your time. Okay. The Kalhanan talk of their guardian spirit, or perhaps the word is goddess, a woman all in grey who haunts the desert and protects their people against the spectre of death. They call her Tihanu and leave her gifts of desert flowers. So I assume that might be the glowy light spirit that we saw before. She, not to make any assumptions, but see, you can hear like whispering, and I like the match system in this one a lot, of having to quickly scramble when you light a match and hope that there's something out there, but something is extinguishing my lights. So I guess I should probably should check whether checking on the baby.
Find a way to the radio.
Okay, so checking on the baby is a way for her to list the objective again. The Ashen Mother is a genie of healing, of succor in the wilderness. She is wild and capricious.
The radio.
She cannot be summoned, but if her sympathy is roused, she may choose to bestow her favor,
Please.
giving of her body to quench the thirst of the dying and guiding those who wander in the soft places. Okay. Come on, Tezzy. You can jump better than Artemi Burak, I'm telling you that. Something's nearby, right? That's what that heartbeat symbolized? I assume, anyway. Did I bump into that with my head? Did he get shot with this? I need the crank anyway, okay. If the light could have stayed on, that would have been nice. I guess the light was to emphasize that I should pick up the crank, which was nice of it. Locked.
This is stuck solid. Damn it, I've got to reach that radio somehow.
I mean, did I need anything else? Also locked. Oh, that was definitely something. Hello. That's what all those little holes are for, predictably. Where have I ended up now? Back in this room. So from here, I don't have any matches either. It's not looking good. I'm out of lantern oil as well. I really wish I'd known how quickly the lantern oil gets used up. So it is fast. Back down here was the... Chazzy's got a good sprint on her too, actually. I just want to make that clear that she's not like a lot of other uh, horror protagonists. Put the winch there. And I guess, what, I have to find a plank as well? Or can I stand from here and do it? Come on. You had long arms before. No. Okay. So I need something else to stand on, I guess. Does it say here? Steady frame. Bench. What? Was I supposed to... Was I supposed to grab that as well? Oh no. Just grab this plank. I don't need to do anything so rash as walk back into monster-infested territory. Can I lay this out nicely? Is that what the game wants me to do? Come on, physics. Don't fail me now. Okay, there we go. It's cool that you can hear the planks sort of creak under your weight too. This game's got a really... I'm warming up to this game a lot now, actually. It's got a really nice soundscape. And I really liked that particular little physics puzzle. Though I've completely wasted all my light sources. Oh, thank God. Refill lantern.
I'll get to you. Keep talking.
I'm coming.
Just that. This floor doesn't look too sturdy.
Thank you for all these light sources. Fill that up again. So, I'm assuming it's like, 30 seconds to charge. I don't know. Guess we'll soon find out. Everyone in horror games seems so fastidious with locking specific doors that just are exactly the wrong doors to lock. I assume we keep going this way. More dead soldiers. Looks like the cannon couldn't save them. Can I? No.
These poor bastards didn't die fighting. Look at this chap here. Suicide.
Why? Why would they do that? Look, what's this? They drew straws.
Okay, so there's these guys obviously not tough enough to hack it against the monster. I see. I don't actually. Is that the way to go? It lasts even less time than I thought it did. Holy crap. Okay, what if we just have a look up here? I hope this is entertaining. I know it's... I'm still not used to doing just straight blind commentary, I think. So I hope it's at least engaging and interesting watching me play it through blinds, but I do have a sneaking suspicion that my particular niche will probably remain playing through games on here I've already played before, so I can add a more critical eye to them. Hello, monster. I saw you.
Hello? Can anyone hear me? I hope the batteries don't run out.
I can't see anywhere else to go, I guess, is the thing. What's this? Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, this more open-ended section sort of feels like it's the game's finally got out of exposition mode. mostly, and let me breathe a little bit. Sort of at the start, I really was. It sort of felt like a huge info dump. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it now. Yasmin Shabani, flight hostess. Paper's not our problem. Travel from, not our problem. Yasmin is hostess for the plane provided by Sterling Shipping on pilot Masson. So she's the other girl who's calling with the doctor. Why does Sterling need a hostess not capable of pouring his own drinks? Give her a rundown on names and faces, make it clear how much she should take and when to come to me. Maybe she could help out with Tessie. Okay.
Yasmin, she's already figured out how to manage Sterling, Fairchild, even DeFreeze. Has a real way with smiling and pretending she gives a damn. I like her.
Customer service, huh? The good captain, he has to play the fair-minded statesman, pretend the Kalhanan are more than savages, give them the benefit of the doubt. He is an ass. That lot up at Tessemt are worse than the Bedouin. Even the Tuareg do not trust them. I remember the stories Maxime told. They skinned two of Albert's troop, left them there to die, screaming. Salt rubbed into the flesh, all in the name of this great mother of theirs. They put on pretty smiles, give the captain painted rocks. They're the worst of devils. They aren't so many. Slaughter them and make excuses later if I were commander. Maybe we'll do it anyway. Okay. I guess, yeah. What I hope this game doesn't lean into is exoticizing the locals too much, which I know can be a temptation and a danger for many Eurocentric writers, especially approaching a unique setting such as the desert. The only other way I can see to go is down there, but that doesn't feel right at all.
This floor is falling apart and you're heavier than you used to be.
Although I want the floor to fall apart. Would that be helpful? Surely it would be helpful.
I suppose if this goes way, it's one way downstairs.
Yeah, with great minds think alike. Oh no. So I guess we're gonna push this cannon. Tezzy, push the cannon. Can you push the cannon? No, there's a rock in the way.
Come on.
Come on, Tezzy, push. Need wheels. Put the wheels on.
It's not going anywhere on 3 wheels.
Wheels on that side. We got a broken wheel there. I guess we'll get a wheel from the other cannon that we saw over here, right? Surely we can take one of those wheels off. Or saying I can push it, but I know, just got a wheel here. Grab this wheel. Run back. And yeah, I really like the problem solving as well is really nice. I mean, obviously it's such an easy thing to do. But it makes you feel clever when you do it, and that's the kind of video game puzzling that should really be on offer in most games. Some games go much too cryptic, but it's nice when a game manages to make you feel smart for doing something stupid.
I guess that worked.
Yes. That's not so flash though. Oh! So was that... I assume that was me going down to lower sanity and actually taking some physical damage there. I assume was the spray of blood.
Hello? Hello, Doctor, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Ava, is that you?
I thought I just ran out of time there.
It's Tazzy Trianon.
Miss Triano. Tarsi. Are you well?
Yes. Well, no. Not really, not at all. I can't remember anything. I'm pregnant. I'm lost. Salim. A fort. I'm in a fort. We were here before, I think.
El Mamaru Fort, okay.
Doctor, where are you?
We have found help. People, a village. But Yasmin, she's not well. The fort. Yes, the fort. Go through the mountain pass, and it is maybe an hour beyond there.
The mountain pass. Yes, I see the village here on the map. Oh, thank God. But, Doctor, please, there's something else.
So we're gonna travel back all the other way, I guess.
I keep blacking out. It feels like I'm losing control.
I am aware of your recent problems, Miss Triana. In fact, not get help.
Of course, just as he starts to clarify how to help Tassie personally, technology fails.
Dr. Mathieu.
Okay. Can I take the map or?
The town. The doctor said it was through the pass, here, on the map. So I just need to find my way to that.
Okay. Guess we'll head back outside. Can I unlock this door? No. Guess you have to go out the other way, I suppose. No matches, no nothing. No. Okay, yeah, I'm warming up to this experience. I was worried at the start that there'd be too much exposition. Calling it now, that guy sounded more than a little evil. He did sound slightly evil exposition-y doctor, didn't he? This, Now, if he does turn out to be evil, I gotta say, slightly disappointed by everyone in horror games that pursues knowledge, turning out to be evil somehow. That somehow knowledge is a great sin, or that a desire to, or that just simple intellectualism will create an evil person. I hope that's not true, because otherwise, lining myself up to become very evil with all my analysis. He probably slowly unplugged his radio and pretended it was breaking up. I would not put it past him, honestly. Just very convenient for it to start going wrong at that time, you know? Very convenient. Can't open that, no. I guess I'll probably stop staring at the corpse. Probably not good for Tassie's sanity. And it is nice as well, really nice to have another horror game with a female protagonist. I was gonna say, more diversity in games is always really, really welcome. So it's nice to play
He is. Look.
From a woman's perspective, and for that woman to also be pregnant feels like a fairly unique experience. Well, it's a good thing the monster can't go through the doors.
Fuck.
I didn't even see the monster. Just the audio cues started playing. I was like, oh, it's telling me to run, so I'd probably better run, I suppose. No entry without the authority of the captain. And we can assume the captain is probably dead, judging by what happened to all his soldiers in there. Alright, so back out here. And I do like as well, I mean...
Thing that's cool. After it killed Jonathan, we escaped. Through the big gates into the pass.
I talked about it before, about how my like for actual, weapons, but I do like how the game is making it abundantly clear that an entire fortress full of French soldiers armed to the teeth weren't enough to stop these monsters. So there's at least some reasoning for why Tassie doesn't try and pick up a gun, because she's obviously seen that it's that they're useless. That it's not going to work.
Over here. I think this is a water pump.
Okay.
A sister for Alice.
Got an achievement, caregiver. What do I have to do? Check on the baby like three times?
But only if I can get home.
Okay. So the water pump's jammed, I guess. And got an achievement, narcissist. Very nice.
I should be, I know, but I don't think I can stomach it.
Yeah, I was about to say you really should be thirsty, but yeah, I guess if you're not, you're not. Nice, yeah, nice wee reference to the old Greek myth there. Just saying if there's any like anything.
Vive la bloody revolution,
I guess what we've got here is like a colonialism theme or a colonialism kind of setting, and I do think it will be interesting as well to see how that affects the game story going forwards. Whether it's kind of a clumsy addition like with House of Ashes, like I was talking before with the Iraq War, or whether we're actually going to get something slightly more nuanced. Um, so far, it seems like all the locals that we've heard of relatively hostile, but then again, we are getting this information from French soldiers who've come in and occupied the area. So possibly not the most trustworthy source. So I guess we'll see. I guess also the cannons were not useful either. There's no lantern oil. Good. I was about to say there's no lantern oil or anything up here, but no, there is. No, I'm really liking the way the game looks and feels. Feels very desolate, very isolating. I like it a lot so far. If the game continues to be good, then all this footage that I'm collecting will be great to make video essays from. Is there any reason to? There's no reason, because that's where I came out of, right? Just a big hole in the wall. You gotta wonder what busted the hole in the wall like that. Whether it was a big monster or whether maybe they were using the tank to try and defend themselves. I don't know. It's right at the inside of the fortress wall. That's locked typically. Okay. So we got a key over there. I'm not sure whether I have to go back in there or whether that's a good idea. I can't. There was nowhere else to explore. I mean, not like there would be a key somewhere else in there, surely. Training yard. Can I? What if I get this? Do we have anything interesting from this? No. Okay. Reminders. Right, so we need to go through this gate, right? But how we do that is another question. So it didn't seem to be. Maybe I was pushing. Maybe I should try pulling. Pulling and pushing. No.
I can't move this. Not on my own.
Thanks for clarifying that. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes in games it's hard to tell exactly what I should stop trying or what I should keep trying. So it's from a designer's perspective, it's always nice to include some really blunt feedback for the player so that they know, stop pushing the damn door. The tank seems gutted, but surely this is what we got to do. We got to blow a hole in the wall, or in the. Doesn't want to shift, does it? No, it just sort of wiggles backwards and forwards. Is that what we wanted? And we got a key. Just that poor guy down there. Okay. I'll finish in a minute. Just typical. Okay. So we will hop in here and finish the stream for today, just because feeling pretty tired. Um, but no, really enjoying this so far. Really keen to keep going. Next time, it's just a broken gun. Is that the key I was looking for? Arsenal key. Yes. Awesome. Okay. Same. It was really cool to have her interact with all of those. You have to pull open the hatch and then you jump in and you can hear the clunking, and it's a really well put together game, really well presented um, so far. So no, I'm really looking forward to continuing next time. Sorry to cut it slightly shorter than I would have liked. Just an exhaustion thing. Um, but no, thank you, Frankaloons and Future Cityscape, for being my patrons. It means a lot. Um, if you enjoyed this stream and you're watching it after the fact, it would be great if you could subscribe or follow me on Twitch. It would be wonderful. So thank you, everybody. Stay safe, and see you soon.